Yes, good morning guys, good evening. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about the Apple. What is Apple doing, guys? So Apple is doing something after few days dipping around 197 is signaling pi. Okay, we have two pi guys signaling the other round, and today is signaling pi here when it was trading around 207. Right now we are talking about 208, and then here we had one day signal sell and on Monday, and today Apple signaling pi again. Where is Apple heading to? So guys, today I'm going to play 1 to 3 videos, and I hope you are going to be interested with that video. Remember, that's 4 hours set, but daily that's everything is doing very well. Apple is doing very excellent job, and so I'm going to start with I'll go with start with this video, and this is important for you, and let's see it.
Let's talk about some of the bangers on the list. We got to talk about artificial intelligence, exactly what you came to this video for. I had mentioned it briefly in a separate video about how Apple has an event on September 9th that they're calling Glow Time, and this is going to be at the Steve Jobs Theater at Apple Park at 10 a.m. Pacific time. The reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because Apple is becoming an artificial intelligence play. They already are dominating it in the phone game. They are already killing it in many different areas. However, if they could tap in to the artificial intelligence zone, they are going to access over $1 trillion in more revenue. Not overnight, but over time. Why? Look at what artificial intelligence did to NVIDIA. Now imagine that Apple can use their software to bring it to people who otherwise wouldn't have access. I'm talking about young people, I'm talking about older people, I'm talking about people who aren't that interested in technology, but they like the simplicity of the iPhones, and now they have artificial intelligence at the tips of their fingers. Family, Apple is something to keep your eye on. It's currently $227 at the time of this recording. It is up basically $1 today. But remember, not even 3 months ago, Apple was basically in the $200 range. Now remember, you could do something called buying fractional shares. I can't tell you what to buy or to sell, but understand me on this. If you were to buy, let's say $10 of Apple a week, and you was doing this for years, you would have had a stockpile that you wouldn't even believe, family. And I've been doing things like that for years now. You can go back to my first YouTube video where you click on videos on my page and you click on oldest. You go back and you're going to see I was buying Apple stock way back to have it, so you don't have to be on the internet to use artificial intelligence. If you go and use ChatGPT or Meta AI or any kind of software, it's often on the internet. But they're trying to make the new iPhones so that you got AMD related computer chips in there and chips. And they're making them so quickly that the companies that are loading up are making NVIDIA need to make them even faster. They cannot fulfill the demand currently. Family, that's crazy. I always use this lemonade stand as an example. Imagine that you're making 100 lemonade just cups an hour. And you know what? The whole football team, baseball team, the whole neighborhood is coming down, and you run out in 10 minutes. You're like, oh, I ran out totally.
Yeah, so guys, that's how Apple. So when you pick about this video, Apple, it has earnings which is coming, not earnings, but had a meeting, something they're going to bring about on September 9th. So guys, put your calendar over there, and let's see Morgan Stanley talking about Apple recently.
Middling upgrade cycles. Why do you think that the AI technology incorporated here, we heard about it about a month ago, is actually going to move the needle?
Sure. So if we look back in time, there has been no other time in history that Apple's install base has been as large, the replacement cycles have been as long, and where Apple has forced you to upgrade your phone to get such a new and kind of pervasive technology at the same time. So you put all three of those together and you say there's a clear catalyst, and only 8% of iPhones and iPads can actually run Apple Intelligence today. It's clear that Apple will try to add more utility value to your phone in introducing Apple Intelligence. almost certainly the product will just get better over time. And ultimately, there's over 1 billion devices that need to be refreshed to get to get this technology. That's what we think, at its simplest form, drives the upgrade cycle.
So it's not necessary, I guess, by the way you put it out there, that today a preponderance of people feel it's immediately necessary to have this technology, but that it will build in that direction. So that's why it seems like you're fixing the price target evaluation on fiscal 2026 numbers.
Yep, and that's exactly right. So if we think about it, Apple Intelligence will launch sometime later this fall. It's only available in US English. About 30% of the iPhone installed base is in North America, and so there is a cohort that can upgrade this fall that can get Apple Intelligence, but ultimately 70% of the world doesn't have access to it. In countries like China, you'll need a local cloud partner, right? So there's still language broadening that needs to happen, third-party API integration that needs to happen. We think that can progress over the course of the year, such that in fiscal 25 we have Apple doing 235 million shipments, very slightly above consensus, but in fiscal year 26 that becomes the big year, 262 million shipments. I'd also add that we think with the iPhone 17, which would drive fiscal 26 numbers, we think you get a bit of a form factor change. We think you get a slim model. We think that actually becomes an incremental reason to upgrade as well.
Does this change the mix in terms of services versus hardware?
So guys, when you see here, remember they were targeting between 349, and I saw something they were targeting also nearest increasing target between 273 from 216. Guys, remember this is a video came 3 years ago before Apple came to 197, and right now it's heading that area. So we see J Morgan Stanley, Apple target 273. Remember right now it's trading 228 as today, Tuesday, before Nvidia earnings. So guys, let's go on.
I think that actually becomes an incremental reason to upgrade as well.
Does this change the mix in terms of services versus hardware and all the multiple implications for that? Because even with this fairly aggressive above consensus idea of what revenue and earnings can be in fiscal 26, you have to 30 times multiple on top of that for your price target.
Sure. So there's two ways that I would describe it.
So guys, we're not going
product
to
revenue is going to grow faster than we've had it growing over.
So I'm not going to play a lot of at least we know the targets, and I would like to share another video here about this. Remember guys, I brought Canon, which is another analyzer, technical analyzer, J Morgan Stanley also analyzer, and also we have here Dan Alves. Remember guys, it talked when Apple was 103, and we are going to see the target, and we are going to finish with our prediction, which is I think Apple is going to hit 400 before end of this year, or by 2025 is going. Remember Apple guys have not pumped a lot after 2023 hitting 120, and it's not like when you think about Apple and Nvidia has already go up more and more, and we need to see Apple go to moon. Let's see.
Made today. Let's bring back in-star Wedbush analyst Dan Ives. Thanks for being back with us. You said going in that this was one of the most important moments in the history of this company, perhaps one of the top 3 moments. Did it live up to the hype?
I think it was a home run. I mean, ultimately, they delivered on every item that they needed to in terms of OpenAI, in terms of the privacy. And really, essentially what they're doing is they're laying out the stack for developers. The only way that they're going to tap into that data is going through Apple. So to me, this is the start of what's going to be an AI-driven, I think, super cycle from 16 to 17. And most important is cloud services. I think this is going to be really a game changer from a services perspective.
You call it that it changed. By the way, here's the note. I mean, you published literally a new note before you sat down with us. So maybe a lot of it was locked and loaded and ready to go. You call it a game changer. You say that the company is not getting any credit for its AI monetization. Isn't that rightfully so? Isn't this a bit of a show-me story at this point?
Oh, no, and look, but Apple's been there before from a show-me perspective. But if you look, you have 270 million. I think this is the most important thing. 270 million of 1.5 billion iPhones have not upgraded in 4+ years. Pent-up demand's there. And now they're laying the yellow brick road to monetization for AI. Look, we could talk about Godfather of AI, Jensen, NVIDIA, and the Dell and Microsoft and everything like that we see in this 1995 AI moment. But from a consumer perspective, 25% of the world, in our opinion, when they access AI, it's going to be through an Apple device.
Let me ask you this.
Apple just wrapped up their Worldwide Developers Conference keynote and unveiled a slew of exciting innovations that will take their devices to the next level. During the highly anticipated
Introducing IronBeam, the best choice for futures trading. IronBeam is the industry-leading broker catering to traders worldwide. With the free IronBeam platform and free real-time data, you can trade the most popular futures contracts anywhere and from any device. Low day trade margins, free depth of market, hundreds of indicators, and trading directly off the chart. Makes your trading more powerful than ever. Open an account today to trade with the best. IronBeam. Your future is at your fingertips. Take advantage of the flexibility and diversity of futures trading with NinjaTrader, the #1 rated futures broker. Start trading futures today.
The anticipated keynote, Apple gave us a sneak peek into the new AI capabilities and substantial software upgrades coming soon to iPhones, iPads, Macs, and beyond. Were you on the edge of your seat watching live, or did you miss out on all the big reveals? No worries, we've rounded up all the need-to-know announcements for you right here in today's video. Additionally, we'll talk about whether investors should go all in on Apple stock after this impressive event. So, don't miss out. But before we get into today's video, if you want to keep up with Apple's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video.
Why has the upgrade cycle been so slow? You highlight what you call pent-up demand. We could have said perhaps a year ago, there's pent-up demand. The new phone did not lead to a tremendous super cycle as you suggested. Why?
The products are too good. I mean, the battery technology has just gotten better. If you look at, especially in China, you really haven't seen many upgrades there for the last 2-3 years. And from a hardware perspective, the innovations really haven't been there. That's been that catalyst. But now the catalysts are really going to be on the software. It's going to be on the chip. It's going to be on the LLM. And essentially what Cook here did is say, this is our castle. This is the Apple castle. The data's not leaving. If you're a developer, you want access to it, you got to come to Cupertino and Apple Park. If not, you're not going to be there. And that's why, and there's 2.2 billion reasons, iOS devices, why I believe this is so important.
Why do you think the stock is doing what it's doing today? And is it as simple as saying, well, it ran up into the announcement, but I want to hear it in your own words as to why you think whatever the stock performance reflects, if anything, in one moment doesn't make a full story for sure, but there's not a flying off the chart move today in the stock to suggest perhaps the optimism that you articulate in your seat.
Because I think the knee-jerk, there was no wow in itself in terms of an actual use case that they talked about that I think the average investor
I mean, you just painted a whole wow thing but now you said there was no wow.
I'm saying wow individually. I think when you look overall to presentation, I actually thought it was ahead of expectations relative to what they laid out. And I think a lot of times with Apple events, look, I remember Scott, iPhone 6, and I could go through many events, you came out here being like, wow, investors are not, they're disappointed. And then all of a sudden you had a $500 billion go to a $3 trillion. So I do think in the Apple story, investors are glass half empty. But I believe we sit here 6-12 months from now, this will be a historical moment for Apple.
Wedbush Securities' Dan Ives is extremely bullish on Apple, and who can blame him? The the new event sent the stock higher and allowed Apple to briefly take back its spot as the second most valuable company in the world from Nvidia. The most important announcement was definitely the company's first ever AI system, Apple Intelligence. This system is Apple's new personal intelligence system that puts powerful generative models right at the core of your iPhone, iPad, and Mac. That enables a ton of new capabilities across Apple's native apps, like the ability to generate images or summarize text. Additionally, Apple Intelligence comes with a big emphasis on security, as the system will automatically decide whether it needs to use on-device processing or contact Apple's private cloud computing server to fulfill your request. Notably, the system will be available for free and on the iPhone 15 Pro, as well as on iPads and Macs with an M1 chip and later. Apple's big push into AI also includes Siri, as the company also upgrades.
So, what is money, and how does it get value? Paper money has value because someone says so. Bitcoin is different. It's like digital gold. It has value for many of the reasons gold does, but that's only the start. Gold originally had value because it was scarce, but no one knows how much is left to dig up. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has a limited supply, 21 million, and it can never be counterfeited. Every day, more people are buying it, making it more scarce, making it more valuable. But you can also split it up, because every Bitcoin is divisible by a lot. Each Bitcoin can be split into 100 million smaller units. So if one Bitcoin was worth $1 million, the smallest unit, called a Satoshi, would be worth 1 penny. So you can send whatever amount you want, and no one can stop you, because no central authority controls it. So unlike with banks and credit card companies, you don't need approval to use it, and no one can decide to just print more or shut it down. It puts the power back in all our hands. Bitcoin lets you control your finances. Kraken lets you buy Bitcoin. Kraken, see what crypto can be. Every parent knows when to go into protect mode. That's why Lysol cleans and kills 99.9% of germs. Don't just clean, Lysol clean.
Upgraded its voice assistant. Siri will now be integrated more deeply into the iPhone, appearing as a pulsating light on the edge of the device. It will also give iPhone users more control over apps, allowing them to ask the voice assistant to find information inside a particular email, or even surface a photo of a particular person from the phone's gallery. And Apple will make this possible by relying on large language models to help Siri better understand what people say and keep track of follow-up requests and questions. There are many other great announcements that Apple made, including the company's partnership with OpenAI. So let's take a look at what it's all about. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
Dan, we talked a little bit earlier about some of the features that Apple announced. Specifically, talk to us a little more about that partnership with OpenAI and the implications of it and kind of how it's going to work.
Yeah, so really what they're doing is they're going to be integrating GPT technology, OpenAI technology, into iOS. So you'll be able to do things like pull up Siri, ask for a question. You can choose if you want to have GPT answer or Siri answer. Now, Apple says that all the information, your data, all of that is going to not go up to OpenAI. It's not going to be shared. It's not going to be used to train anything. And that really is something that's important. We saw Sam Altman wandering around ahead of the event. They didn't make too much fanfare of the announcement. It was relatively small when you take into the totality of what Apple announced here. But the Apple Intelligence platform is seemingly a kind of new way for Apple to move forward, because it's going to be across all of these different platforms, whether it's iPhone, iPad, Mac. I didn't say anything about Vision Pro yet, or WatchOS, or Apple TV, but the fact that it's going to be on iPhone, on iPad, and on Mac, and talking across those is really important. And I think when you look at the companies that are offering consumer-level AI, that's Microsoft, Apple, and Google, Apple seems to have really started to come out on its own ahead of the other two. Now, that being said, they were only just announced. We haven't used it yet. We haven't seen what kind of hiccups there might be. Google and Microsoft did announce their own AI products, and they had hiccups. In fact, Microsoft just had to pull back its recall feature, an AI-driven feature, before they even released it because of some backlash about potential security issues. So this is a big move for Apple. They're going to have to be essentially testing it. They're going to roll out the beta, the private beta, and then the public beta, and then we'll see what kind of reaction.
So guys, this video is too long, so I'll not go to finish it. Maybe you can go to look for yourself, and I'll cut over there, guys. So I think that will going to help you. Apple on daily is very bullish. I've already shown you Apple on daily is bullish. Even on 4-hour charts it's already bullish, and even also on weekly here it was fading, but it's still on a bullish trend. The next upper resistance will be 162, and it's going to happen very fast. Thanks so much and have a nice day.